What's going on, guys? Belair here. We are back, and today we are on with a new French prospect that you may or may not have heard of before in Eugen. Eugen spent the season playing on a couple rosters, made two main events. The first one was in the Major 1 split alongside Oida. Is that how you pronounce it? It's the team with Yukeo, and pardon me for not recalling the third. Maybe it'll come to me in a second. And then also played on this Nordschleife roster, two rosters that I'm not positive I understand how to pronounce. And this one is alongside Gomb and Pisky. And we're not able to come up with any high quality results. This is from Open Qualifier 5, if I remember correctly. And they're going to get 0-3 swept out in this event, but they had a really tough matchup against Gentlemates Alpine. They had this matchup here against Resolve, of course, which is a pretty formidable roster. And I can't remember who they ended up dropping out to, but that might come to me in a moment as well. But who is Eugen? He popped up on my watch list because I have seen him on Hootie Who's streams previously as a 1v1 participant, and a demo there is going to open up the scoring for Resolve. But I also know him because Shift just put out their Who's Next list, spotlighting some of the young talent around the league, and Eugen made the cut, and is somebody who I've heard spoken of highly in the past. Wanted to watch a little bit of Eugen here, as he's going to get a very heads-up demo upfield, but his teammates are unable to put it away. The teammates that Eugen had over the course of the season, Gomb, of course, is probably the player I'm the most familiar with out of this current iteration of teammates that he has. Gomb has played for quite a few teams that you probably heard of previously. He was on BS Plus. He was a part of Guild Esports after that, if I recall correctly. And then most recently, he played with Tea Time, which was him, Hibbs, and Scrubkilla. And I think that roster, he's played with Acro before, and Louis P, and some players like that. So Gomb's been around as I think that might have been Pisky who slotted that one in to put Nordschleife on the board. And Pisky, formerly known as Whiskey Drink, if you've followed the up-and-coming bubble scene for a while in Europe, played for Gross Noobs and quite a few other teams as well. But we're not here to talk about them. We're here for Eugen, who has an unbelievable, I was pulling some stats just to see, of course, incredibly small sample size. We only got 26 games of Eugen over the course of this season, but 86% goal participation is the third highest in the RLCS. And the other guys played like 11 games and 14 games. So again, 26 is not lighting the world on fire by any means, but 86% goal participation is pretty wild. And his assist rate is pretty excellent as well. Of course, it's tough to score a lot of goals when you're going up against the Williams Resolves of the world, but they try their best, as Ivan's going to let one get away from him there, and a heads-up play by Eugen that isn't going to be able to be slotted in is eventually going to be put away to tie up this game in the opening game of this series against Resolve, which they were unfortunately swept out of. There's a lot of stuff I like about Eugen. I did go and watch the other series that they had against Fast Forward. That's who it was, that compact HB and Smokes roster. And gosh, Smokes has still got it, let me tell you. And Cash in this series, and I was looking at a couple of games here, deciding what to watch. And Cash is still so good. He's on the Dominus here, which is exciting. Very few players who still rock that. But yeah, gotta give Smokes his flowers real quick. And Eugen does kind of play like a ones player. He can kind of get to any ball. Like here, he's going to take it up the backboard and is almost going to put one in himself, and Cash is going to save his own shot. I picked a poor time to highlight his one's ability, but you know, just the ability to kind of, when the play slows down, understand what you can kind of do, is something that Eugen can do excellently in spots, and then other times it kind of bites him in the butt, excuse me, and we might see that in this game. Spoiler alert, guys, as we're getting to the 25-second mark of this game. And it's tied, and the big thing that I've seen from this roster in the series that I've watched so far is just that connectivity that you get from some of the better teams is just not here. And who knows, maybe it's, you know, comms. I know that this roster is from all around, so probably not the most crisp communication in the world, but Gomb is going to let one float there, trying to get a ceiling pinch, and then Eugen tries to slow play and get a read, and is just going to fumble the bag there. Let's watch that one back real quick. So Eugen gets the kill here, gets it past 2, which is great, tries to play it upfield. Cash gets that boost and escapes the demo. Tries to go for a ceiling pinch, does Gomb there, and then Eugen plays it a little forward. He's trying to just get a nice little touch to himself there, and then play the 50 off Cash, who is going to just fake it and let it go by, and that's going to be a 0-second fumble there by Nordschleife. Eugen, though, 2 assists and a savior medal to his name on 2 shots is going to get us on the board here. So let's go over and watch a series I have not yet in Gentlemates Alpine and see how Eugen is able to play against some of the elite players, also elite French players in the world. All right, we're back. This is game 3 against Gentlemates Alpine from round 1. Gentlemates trying to sweep out. They have held Nordschleife to only a single goal in the first 2 games of this series, and are looking to keep the pain rolling here, as Seiko is just eventually so much pressure. Nordschleife have no boost. What are you going to do? Seiko's going to go ahead and slot one in there. It's always tough to gauge talent on teams like this because there's just not the chemistry, or I think a big thing for young teams like this who are unproven is knowing that you have the ability to contend against teams like this. Like, how do you possibly think that you're going to come away from a Gentlemates series victorious? You probably don't have really high hopes for yourself. And I think a lot of teams kind of shoot themselves in the foot from the jump. That's something that I recall many pros previously talking about, but specifically that was something that Joyo talked about when Oxygen were having their woes early in the London Major, where he was like, it's just a confidence game. If you're not confident, you kind of don't have much going for you. And maybe that's something that is biting Nordschleife here. But also, Gentlemates Alpine are no slouches, as we all well know, as an incredible... Is that like a double pinch clear? As Eugen's going to pop that passing lane and cut that out. Another thing that you see with a lot of young players is playing for, oh my goodness. Upfield. Very lucky that that boost is there, and it's just going to crank that one. Oh my goodness, Eugen. Huge shot there to give them a little bit of a momentum boost, a much needed momentum boost here, as he's going to fake the challenge off the ceiling. Probably knows that Pisky is calling him off the challenge there. Let's see how he gets up to this one. Tough ball. Is going to read it, but no boost remaining to his name. And before he hit that incredible shot, that was something else I was going to mention, which young players commonly aren't the best at boost management. We commonly see Eugen running pretty low, trying to play for big pads as opposed to playing the game, something that plagues his teammates as well that I saw from a couple games I watched. But we also, in that last little scrum on the defensive side, saw something that I've been really impressed by, which probably translates back to that one's experience, which is Eugen's ability to make these like tackling 50s. And is that one going to roll all the way in? We're very fortunate that it's not. Seiko might slot this one here. So far, the scrambling defense has paid off, and then a backside demo is going to open this up. But Gentlemates are going to keep it in their own side and try and keep this one rolling here. But, you know, those diving tackle 50s where Eugen is very adept at placing his Finnick in a pretty dangerous, challenging position that makes it difficult for his opponents to get the ball past him. Nice little kind of back touch there, but this offensive attempt is going to fade away. And, not to just spotlight things that young teams can't really do very well, but extended offense is not something that has been a mainstay of the gameplay that I've watched so far. But Eugen certainly has the mechanics, has the feel that is needed, but, it's just those small, this is a game of margins. And, just some of that, like that 0-second goal that we saw him give up is something that will improve with time and experience and repetitions, especially in these big moments. And then the ability to, get better around the fringes. Definitely has the ability and often looks to pass the ball internally. He's very good at working off of the sidewall and finding those like dump passes right onto the hood of his teammates. Gonna get a fake pass Seiko there, play another 50 on Itachi, but nobody is there to follow up for him. Really heads up a couple of plays there by the young Frenchman. And Juicy is gonna try and float this one in, gets another little play on Seiko here, but I mean, Gentlemates have so much pressure, they really don't have any ability to show off what they can do on the offensive end. Is going to be able to get his wheels under himself there. Gets up quick to this one, but Itachi is quicker, and that one's going to float right by him. And that's just, a little desperation as he tries to drop one down there to Gomb for the double touch, but defended well by Gentlemates. That's little moments like that are things that we see quite commonly. The pre-jumps, when they work, they look beautiful, but when they don't work, oh my goodness, the defensive goal line saves are really starting to come out here, and they need every one of them as they're trying to make a comeback with 25 seconds left in this game. Seiko's going to play it back to his own corner, just burn some clock, and then tries to get the fake there, but Eugen still gets a little bit of a touch. Unfortunately, it's right to Juicy. And, I mean, look, Gentlemates are starting to play the ball high here. They know that they're just trying to run some clock. He's going to try and go for the musty pass. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that worked. And then Gomb, in a big moment, again, no boost. Totally out of the play is Eugen, and that one's going to die right there. Let's go back and watch that little musty play again there. This is a confident moment. You can see that Juicy's starting to kind of work towards it, but he thinks it's just going to be a straight-up pass, so he has no idea. I guess he was just trying to get like a dunk there to keep the ball in play, but again, no boost. This one's going to die, and that is Gentlemates taking the closeout game against Nordschleife to send them down to that resolve matchup that we just saw. But Eugen, 5 saves to his name, huge on the defense. They needed every bit of it as they tried to contend with this Gentlemates roster. I've been really impressed by the Eugen that I have seen so far. Went back and watched all of the series that they had played in this Open Qualifier 5, and excited to go back and watch what he had done with Oida. Interested to see how the French talent is going to evolve. We, of course, have seen them absolutely inundate top-tier Rocket League for a couple of seasons now. It seems as though all the best players in the world, at least the lion's share of them, are French. And is Eugen going to be the next iteration of those French names that pop up? Or is he just a solid talent? Still so much time to develop his game and evolve as a player. So I hold any judgment, but very excited to see that Eugen and Gomb and Pisky were able to make a main event here and get this high-level experience, this main event experience, and excited to see what's next for Eugen, all the players on that shift board, and very much looking forward to catching more of his gameplay as this long off season is going to go along. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts on Eugen down below. Who should we watch next? Please let me know. I always appreciate hearing y'all's perspective so we can get some videos cranking out over the rest of this week. And until next time, guys, take it easy.